This thing, you almost see it every day. Potato. Reliable, trustworthy. But you ask, why are the potatoes brown? How did we discover potatoes? How old are potatoes? What are potatoes made of? At this point, you gotta look at the bigger picture and ask. Well, you should be glad you asked. Potatoes is derived from the word batata, which is what the Haitian people called it. The Spanish people borrowed the word from them and turned it upside down. Patata. And the English made it into potato. That's how we got the name. But what is a potato? A potato is a stem tuber of the plant called Solanum tuberosum. A tuber is a storage organ underground, which stores necessary nutrients and energy for the plant to survive harsher conditions. But, unfortunately for the plant, we love to cook and eat the storage organ in various ways. Oh, and by the way, the potato plant actually grows a fruit as well called, well, the potato fruit, which is green unlike the tuber. Potatoes are brown from the outside because of oxidation. So, starches can turn gray, brown, and even black. Well, maybe not that black, but you get the idea. They can also turn green when exposed to sunlight due to chlorophyll, which is the chemical that gives plant their green color. Chlorophyll mostly absorbs red and blue wavelengths, but green is less absorbed and reflected back. Now, huddle up, this is the interesting part of the story. We discovered potatoes some 10,000 years ago in the Peruvian-Bolivian Andes. And by we, I mean the people from the Inca Empire. An intriguing civilization, all high as hell, 13,000 to 20,000 feet above sea level, in fact. They had no system of writing, no knowledge of iron, steel, or even draft animals. But what they did have was a pretty cool mailing system. Men from each of the villages were selected to be trained and become a chasqui. They would deliver messages, items, and news to other villages and messengers along their advanced road system. The most advanced pre-Columbian South America era. This is how a Spanish conquistador, known for his extensive books on the Inca civilization, Pedro Cheza de Leon, described the roads as, I believe that, since the memory of people, it has not been read of such a greatness as this road, made through deep valleys and high peaks, snow-covered mountains, marshes of water, live rock, and beside furious rivers. In some parts, it was flat and paved, on the slopes well made, by the mountains cleared, by the rocks excavated, by the rivers with walls, in the snows with steps and resting places. Everywhere it was clean, swept, clear of debris, full of dwellings, warehouses for valuable goods, and temples of the sun. The relay stations, called Chasquihuasi, House of Chasqui, were placed at around 2.5 kilometers from each other. This is where the messengers would switch places. Now remember, there is no system of writing. They would either memorize the oral information or deliver the quipu. The quipu is particularly interesting since it looks almost alien, and because we still can't interpret the quipu. The Incas used it for record keeping. They were usually made from cotton or camelid fiber cords. They can store information on various attributes. The primary cord of a quipu had 2 knots to signify the start and end, and all the other cords were attached to it. A cord was divided into many sections. The color of each section was significant. Different colors represented different types of information. The sections had varying numbers of knots. The location, type, and number of knots conveyed different information. The length of the cords and their arrangement on the main cord could indicate hierarchical relationships or categories of information. You want to know more about the quipu? What was stored and why? Well, you'll have to decipher it yourself. No one else can? You might be the chosen one. Forget about the Cryptos code or cicada. You could be the Rosetta Stone to the ancient South American civilizations. Well, go on. Yeah, that's what I thought. The Inca found the potatoes somewhere in the 8,000 to 5,000 BC range. The potatoes they had were small and bitter because they were poisonous. They apparently used gravies made from clay to neutralize the poisonous effects until those traits were diminished due to selective breeding. All was well for the Inca Empire. Well, relatively well. There was a civil war taking place. But then the conquistadors arrived at the Inca Empire, and due to their leaders' stupidity, the Incan people were enslaved and colonized, and the sustainable yet humble potato was shipped out to Europe, where it caused global populations to rise, also causing a famine in Ireland, forcing new and better agricultural practices to be adopted and becoming one of the most important food sources in the world. Potatoes are, because humans needed a sustainable food source, and potatoes ace all the stats. They can even thrive in areas where even grass can't grow.